Howard University alumni, class of 2000. I want to welcome each of you to HOWARDWOOD. HOWARDWOOD is where Hollywood meets Howard University. You know, there's no secret that Howard University produces the best and the brightest when it comes to entertainers, especially the entertainment world in Hollywood. But also Howard University produces the best students in the country as well too. Absolutely, you tell them on the call. And that's why we're here today, to meet with you, to talk with you, so we can train you to become the next entrepreneurs, the next artists in this entertainment field. Now this week coming up, obviously it's homecoming week, we have over thousands of alumni who will sit on this hilltop high. My charge to you is two things. One, interact with them and engage with them and find out from them specifically what it is that they did to get to that level. And the second thing is rejoice. Rejoice in the fact that you are students at Howard University. Rejoice in the fact that Howard University has provided this venue for you to be here today to talk to some staunch alumni from the entertainment world. And also rejoice in the fact that your future is bright. And so who knows, from learning today, by engaging today, by talking today, you will become that next entertainer in that world. Lastly, I must say, happy homecoming. Enjoy yourself.
All right, how's everyone doing today? Okay, you guys can do a little better than that. How's everyone doing? All right, I'm so happy to be here and I'm so happy to see you all here. My name is Leovina Charles. I am a graduating senior musical theater major from Brooklyn, New York, and this year I have the honor, thank you, this year I have the honor of serving as Miss Howard University. So we are about to present our esteemed panelists. First we have JALANI Johnson. JALANI Johnson is a talent manager at the Santa Monica-based management company Generate. After briefly working at the Creative Artists Agency, Johnson transitioned to management in 2010. His client list includes actors, comedians, writers, and directors. Johnson is a graduate of Columbia University. Ladies and gentlemen, JALANI Johnson. Next, we have Dallas Jackson. Dallas Jackson is a graduate from Howard University School of Communications. He is a writer, producer, and is currently writing and producing The Last Dragon remake at Sony Picture Studios. Dallas has developed scripts for ABC Family, Stars, and Teen Nick, and served as creative consultant on Teen Nick's scripted drama, South of Nowhere. Dallas Jackson. Next is Sheldon Candice. Baltimore native, Sheldon Candice is a graduate of the USC School of Cinematic Arts. Currently, Candice is prepping for the release of his critically acclaimed Sundance premiered feature film, Love, starring Common. Sheldon Candice, ladies and gentlemen. Next, we have Miss Wendy Raquel Robinson. A cum laude graduate of Howard University with a BFA in drama. You see fine arts in the building today. Wendy Raquel Robinson is the feisty sports manager Tasha Mack on BET's #1 rated scripted series, The Game. This role has earned her 3 NAACP Image Awards. Ooh, 4, all right. Robinson's artistic background in acting, dancing, directing, writing, producing, and choreographing displays her passion as she strives for excellence in her career as an artist. Ladies and gentlemen, Wendy Raquel Robinson. Last and certainly not least, ASHIA Kamali May. Actress, dancer, and producer, ASHIA Kamali May is a graduate of Howard University School of Communications and also studied in the Fine Arts Theater Department. ASHA, a former Miss Howard University, is the co-creator of HOWARDWOOD along with her sister, Adia May. ASHA is the star, creator, and producer of the upcoming web series Milk and Honey, which which is executive produced by Idris Elba, so please look out for that, ladies and gentlemen. Your moderator for this afternoon, ASHIA Kamali May. Welcome everybody, test, yeah, this is hot, good. Welcome everybody to Howardwood. Everybody comfortable, feel good? Everybody see all the panelists? Can you be seen? There's my light. Oh, I love you too. I think I'm gonna do this. Okay, well, we're gonna get started. First, we're going to play at Howardwood. Oh, I'm on the camera. Oh, we're good. Okay, is this live? We're live stream. I think we're live stream live. So I'm glad everybody came looking. Wendy, you look good. So, hi everybody who's watching on the live stream all around. We have Morehouse watching, and we have so many other universities that are watching as well as people online. So, hello to everyone. We are going to kick off and show you a video of what we've been up to for the last 3 years. So here's Howardwood the last 3 years.
What's up? I'm actor Lance Gross, and we're here at Howard University with Howardwood.
Been very disturbed even as a little kid by how Black people, particularly and Latinos and Asians included, are always stereotyped and marginalized in entertainment.
I wanted to be in a decision-making role behind the scenes. I didn't want to get the talent art experience, which is why I did the news and got to learn how to shoot and edit and produce and all of that. But ultimately, I wanted to use that knowledge to make bigger decisions behind the scenes. So to now be able to do that at a network that is targeted for us is really my dream come true.
The networking and the relationships that you establish here while you're in school, you know, being in school is the best years of your life, but the relationships are important. I'm sure all the panelists, you know, will agree that a lot of, in terms of your success, will be predicated upon who you know.
May Sisters Entertainment, thank you for doing a program like this too.
For being here. Thank you. We will now be greeted by our sponsor, NBC Universal, and Mr. Chuck Sanders.
How's everybody doing? Universal is really glad to, for the third year, sponsor this event. Being an how would I call it? I started here as undergrad, left, went to University of Maryland and finished my degree, and then got smart and came back and did my MBA here. So we definitely appreciate the fact that we can participate every year, and we want to show you a little bit of what we do and how we represent diversity on NBC TV as well as on film. So with that,
he's not talking right now.
Here's what you need to understand. I have been searching for you for a very long time, through mud and filth, away from my home and my wife and my bed. So I'm in a mood. I'm sure you can understand that.
Someone's always waiting to take you down, homie. But if the work's good, they won't be able to.
We all lost one. Uncle Friday. And that ain't changing. So maybe we should.
Never mind. Can we continue? Can you pick it up, Jasmine, where we were? My apologies. No? Well, we're going to have to play it. For career entertainment. It's very hard to go home and tell mama and daddy, I'm going to Hollywood. So let's just talk about the preparation that takes. And I would like to start with Sheldon, Candice. And Sheldon is a really fantastic director. And he's one of those names that's going to be a household name. So you saw him first here at Howardwood. He has a feature film coming out January 18th.
Love, which is critically acclaimed, was selected at Sundance. We're so proud of him, so excited for you. That doesn't happen for Black. Well, it does happen. It does happen for Black directors and writers, and you are proof. So, how did you prepare for, your career?
Foundation in my beliefs in God and holding on to the things that my mother taught me. That is in the philosophical sense, but in terms of actually navigating Hollywood, I really believe that, no matter how hard the horse bucks you, just don't let go. And what that is that's a parable for perseverance. And I had moved to Los Angeles in 1999, always believing that, I would tell stories and I'd make movies. But you're gonna go through a real journey in life, and that's with anything. But especially in the entertainment industry, you really test it. And at the end of the day, if you truly love something and you're passionate about it, don't ever give up on it.
That's awesome. I think that's something bigger than yourself. I think that's they don't teach you that at school. And that's something that you can definitely pick up. Is someone else, did you want to speak more in preparation?
My story is slightly different. I grew up in Los Angeles, so yeah, it's quite interesting. But when I told my mom that I wanted to come to Howard and major in drama, she's like, really? And even when I was here on campus, I got a lot of raised eyebrows. Oh, you're a drama major? Really? What are you going to do with that? It's like, hey, look at me now. But I do want to piggyback on what he said. If it's something that you are passionate about, you have to follow that voice and that calling. There was nothing else that I wanted to do, nothing else that I could even visualize myself doing. I had no other passion or, in my mind, purpose. It was what I wanted to do, was to use my gift and, not only for myself, but to teach others. I'm sorry, I got a cough drop in my mouth, so I'm fighting cold. So, she had a speech impediment. No, I don't. But I just wanted to pay it forward as well. So going to Howard, I wanted to be surrounded by not only the best of the best. I looked at the roster, and I was definitely in. But I wanted to learn everything I possibly could about not only this industry, but about theater, from hanging lights to makeup to hair to wardrobe to costuming, so that no matter what, I would always not only have a job, but I could create a possibility or an opportunity for me. So,
anybody else? John?
Yeah, my experience and how I got involved in Hollywood is different than everybody else up here because I'm the only executive. I'm a talent manager, and all of these people I'm up here with are artists. So I stumbled into Hollywood, but it was a situation where my previous experiences prepared me for the job I have now. Prior to working in entertainment, I worked in journalism, I worked in business consulting, I majored in history and anthropology. I had a radio show in New York City, and when I finally got into entertainment, it was just the perfect fit for all of my skills. And the whole time I was doing all that other stuff, I was watching movies and watching TV in my free time. So Hollywood kind of came to me, and it was a blessing, and it's worked out.
I had always wanted to be in film and television. I wasn't sure which capacity I wanted to be in and how I was going to participate in that until I got to Howard. And Howard enabled me to see the path. The thing that you have to recognize while you're here is that you're in a special place. There is no other school like Howard. And the relationships you build here can actually propel you into helping your career. So when I was taking screenwriting classes and drama classes here and television production and film production classes, those were just learning lessons. But once I got out into the real world and decided that this was the path I wanted to be on, I moved to Los Angeles and got a job in the mailroom at Savoy Pictures. And I actually got that job by a brother who went to Howard, Todd May, who introduced me to HR. So I got my first job in entertainment because of my connection to Howard. And in that mailroom is where I learned that I wanted to be a screenwriter, because I was reading every screenplay that was coming past me, and I took everything that I learned from Howard and everything that I was learning in that environment and partnered up with another alumni from Howard that was in Los Angeles at the time, and we wrote a screenplay called Scary Dates, which was about a lot of scary dates at Howard. There are some scary dates that happen at Howard. And the manager that we hooked up with, the literary manager, his name was Topper Peru. He went to Howard. Yeah, Topper was here with Debbie and them. You ain't that old, so you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know that.
Thank you.
That was a compliment, because she's saying, "Oh, I'm so old," but she still looks awesome.
I didn't hear her say that.
This is earlier this morning.
Topper created the Martin show as well.
Yes, Topper created Martin, and he managed Robin Harris, and he actually straddled the fence between being a producer and a manager. And I'll wrap this up in the next question, but all those things that I learned at Howard, the relationships I made, eventually catapulted me into a position where those things met the road, and I was able to do something with them and create. And remember, whether you're a writer or director or talent manager, you're a business person, and this is a business, and you are the product, and what you create are your products. So learn your craft and create the best product possible, because that's how you're going to have to look at it, and at some point you're going to have to get in the room and sell your product. So you're going to have to learn to be a good pitch man and a good businessman, because at the end of the day, you're not only selling your product, you're selling yourself.
Yeah,
Or businesswoman.
Or businesswoman.
I just wanted to add one more, I think, important thing about preparation. As I always say that, study, and well beyond your years in college, study. So if in fact you do want to be a filmmaker and you want to be like a writer-director, then study all the great writer-directors that have come before you. I've seen every Spike Lee movie, I don't know how many times. I can quote them line for line. I know Spike's shots. If you're an actor, if there are any actors in here, study the great actors, know their mannerisms, know their cadence, know their tendencies. You should know everything about Denzel Washington and how he performs. If you want to be a television actress, study her, watch her. She's one of the best at what she does. It's all about your preparation. And I always say that the people who are great at what they do, they studied all the greats that came before them. Kobe Bryant is one of the best basketball players because he studied all the greats. Okay, Jay-Z is one of the best rappers because he studied all the greats that came before him. So if you're writing, read all the great American screenplays. It's just so important to study, study, study.
That's, I think, the takeaway, and I hope everybody has a pen and a pad. I would really take advantage of this opportunity to take notes. And I think the takeaway, what everyone here is saying, is that your career starts now.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait to graduate to get a job. Your job is preparing, watching, studying. If you're doing that now, then you have a chance to compete with your counterparts. Because I was telling the interns last night at D&I, we went to an event called HOWARDWOOD. Okay? We said that's a great idea. And I'm saying that because they were already on the set of The Avengers. They were already writing screenplays. So we thought about Howard students, are they doing it now, or are they waiting? Because I did it a little and then I hit the ground running. No, you gotta start now. Freshmen, start now. And someone said something about business, and I think that's a good through line to talk about. You see, Wendy, and you see, this glamorous life. You say, wow, she's on The Game. She's been in so many films, so many TV shows. This is someone who is, a top level actress. But I wonder, Wendy, what is the business of show for you? Like, what does that mean, and how prepared do you have to be to win as an actress and still work?
It is all about business first. At the end of the day, I want to start there. It is all about what? Know this. And business transcends not only what you're doing on camera, but it's even the relationships that you have. I mean, I can go back to my Martin days, you know, I can go back to Sinbad days. It's a very small circle in this particular business that, you know, it's how you treat, it's how you work. Well, is she on time? Is she difficult? Is she this? Is she that? You show up, you do the work. You do the work even before you show up. I worked with so many talented and incredible people, but guess what? They didn't have nothing together. They will take somebody that is less talented than you, because guess what? I'm not gonna have a tornado on my set. Nobody wants the drama that's not on the camera. It's like, you save that drama, leave that at home, you know, you do whatever you gotta do in your closet, in your mirror, whatever, but when you come to work and you show up. So it's also about relationships. It's about showing a professional. Everything that you're learning here at Howard, I'm talking specifically to my drama students as well as the directors and the writers and things like that, it's about discipline. It's about having the discipline to know when to play and when to work. You know, I was even sharing in the acting boot camp. It's interesting, this is my first homecoming, because even when I was here at Howard, I was in the trenches. You know, it was like, okay, we got rehearsal, I had practicum, or I had something, but I was all about doing the work. Now, don't get me wrong, I had a good time. I know how to have a good time, but it's also about getting everything you can, because guess what? You're gonna need that in this business. It is so competitive. And beyond being competitive, now we have the reality scope. You know, they're becoming the new stars of tomorrow, today, and it's like, wow, really? And sometimes it really kind of beats you down. It's like, okay, now I got all this training, all this technique, and boom, and I ain't get up there and throw it down. I ain't gonna get my spin off, you know? But, you know, at the end of the day, you want longevity, and you want something that has integrity, and you want something that is viable, that is going to catapult you, and I have to pull on that word because it's all about taking you to the next level and you just staying in the game. But business is very important. From your taxes, I will break it down for you, because I know a lot of my friends in the actors, you know, they broke. Guess what? Handle your business. If you get that first check, yeah, you want to do, okay, you gotta pay your agent, then you got a manager, then sometimes you got a lawyer, but then you got taxes, and then you want to be glamorous, and it may look like that check is all of that. Take out that 10% for yourself, save it, set aside, and I believe in, you know, investing not only in yourself, but investing in your future. Because that money, it may seem like it's coming, but it goes very, very fast. So handle your business on a financial tip, on a spiritual tip. Surround yourself by those that are going to be positively investing into your life, because you got a lot of, she got my role. Ooh, damn, Nene. Anyway, no, I'm kidding. But no, but I mean, I hear that. You know, I'm even ready. It's like, wow, you know? And you know, with social media being the way that it is too, that's another form of business. A lot of execs tell me now they're looking at your Twitter followers, how many followers you got, how many this, and it's like, wow, really? So it's so many elements that you need to invest in just to stay on top of your game, in addition to staying on top of your craft. Does that make sense? So handle your business all the way around.
I would love for JALANI to kind of chime in, specifically, we're talking about handling your business. You know, what are the mistakes that all the in front of the camera talent make business-wise in terms of decisions for their career? Like, what are some of those pitfalls to avoid? Because we know we're talking to the next, you know.
Well, first of all, to Wendy's point earlier about preparation, every production that you work on, every shoot that you go on, is money. Like, these are financial institutions, right? So when you get to set, the director doesn't want, and Shelton knows this, is the director. When he knows this because she's an actress, and Dallas knows this because he's a writer. They don't want to do 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 takes with you. If you can go in there and knock your stuff out on the first, second take, they're going to want to work with you in the future, because it's all about efficiency and saving money, right? So do the scene study at home. Know your lines. And in acting, most of my businesses I work with actors. 80% of my clients are actors. acting is a muscle. I'm sure the actors in here have heard that before. You have to keep training that muscle. You can't just be modeling or partying and waiting for a phone call. Because when you get that phone call, you're gonna blow it because you haven't been training. You know, if you're a basketball player, you have to shoot jump shots so that when you get on the court, you can handle your business. So, as far as actors go, it's traditionally an industry where you're waiting on somebody else's validation. You're waiting to get picked up for a project. In this day and age, you can't do that. You have to hook up with, if you don't write, hook up with a writer friend, hook up with a director friend, shoot a short, go do a play, join a theater group, join an improv group. Just make sure that you're working and that people can see your face. Because in this day and age, there are more media outlets than ever to expose your art. That's what it is, it's art. So you can upload something to Vimeo or YouTube, or you can submit your short to a film festival. There's a lot of film festivals. God bless Shelton's film. You got into Sundance. That's the pinnacle, that's the top. There's a lot of film festivals. There are a lot of local film festivals in the DC area that people haven't heard of. People are going, they're getting programmed, you know? So take agency over your own career in terms of theatrically, in terms of being an actor. And as far as business is concerned, you know, it's an industry of ebbs and flows, especially on the creative side. Like I make a salary. I know where my next paycheck is coming from. Granted, I make way more money if my clients are successful. But if you're an actor, you might have a show one day, or you might shoot a movie one summer, and then it's 8 months of not working. Or 8 years. Or 8 years of not working, exactly. So be smart about your money. You know, you don't have to be flashy. That's not helping anybody. Save your checks and invest in your career.
So please tell.
And also, I said this morning, you know, create. You don't need a lot of money to create. You need a pad and a pen. If you have a laptop, invest in Final Draft. It's a screenwriting program. Go get that. Work with it. Create. Because even if you sell your first project or idea, they're going to ask you what else you got. And while you're here, take advantage of the resources here on campus. Get together and shoot a short. Get together and do something and upload it. Put together a small play. Because you don't know who's going to see that and how that might help you get exposed, or just even for practice for the real world. But I would definitely say, if you envision yourself in anywhere in this realm of entertainment, create. Because that's your product, and that's what's going to get you paid, and that's what's going to get you noticed.
Really quickly, shout out to Howard Middle School. They were interviewing us coming in here, and they asked, what advice would you give an aspiring actor or filmmaker? And I said, how old are they? They said 13. And I said, I'll give the same advice to a 13-year-old that I would give to a 38-year-old. Go shoot something. Go get a camera and have fun. I don't know if any of you saw the Tim Burton exhibit that was showing in New York and LA. It was like, it was a history of all of Tim Burton's work since he was a child up into modern day, Alice in Wonderland, Edward Scissorhands, etc. There was a section in the beginning of the exhibit where it was his shorts that he shot when he was 8, 9, 10 years old. And he drew them by hand, and he had flip books, and he animated them, and he got a camera, and he shot it, and it was awesome. And there's a reason that successful people are successful.
I'll say one more thing. You know, for myself, this is important to all of you. I wouldn't have the, God willing, the foot into a career without my peers that I went to college with. 7 of the key people in my film were all people that I went to film school with. From my producer, my director of photography, my writing partner, even my music composer. So it's and this goes over the history of anyone that's successful in our business, whether it's Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, working together as writing partners, Ernest Dickerson and Spike Lee working together. So basically what I'm saying to you is that it is your alliance to each other that is the relationships that you build now are the people that are going to pull you through your careers.
And I think, just to add, and we're going to move on to your statement, that, I think we're so busy, it's great to, talk to Jalani, Mr. Johnson, give him your card, you know, ask Wendy for her help, or if she can, you know, mentor you. But it's also great to talk to people in your class, okay? I went to Howard, graduated 10 years ago. The people I work with, you know, I have a web series, Lance is in it, Lance Girls, we were in school together. You know, I called on another friend who's in it, Shantae, she was Miss USA, she's in it, we were in class together. So I called on my writing partners who I grew up with in Chicago. So the point here is, Wendy, she has her own class. There's a class of people and they came up together. Not that she's not gonna help you, but look at your neighbor, because those are the people who you need to really be running to get to. So I think that was such a great point.
Yeah, and then one last statement that I've always, people always say in our industry, it's all in who you know. I've always felt that that's an incomplete statement. It's all in who you know who's willing to help you.
Good caveat.
You know a lot of people.
So I think we can go on and on. I think we're going to move on, and we're going to, that concludes our round table part of this, but we're going to start talking about preparing, you know, real life preparation for life behind the camera, training to be an executive. So right now we're going to have a mock interview. We're going to have a mock interview with Ms. Jakara Eason. She's going to come up, and we're going to, we're going to put you on a hot spot, Jakara. Jalani's going to, I didn't tell you.
No,
So we're going to interview Jakara.
Awesome.
And actually Jakara is one of our stellar, have a seat at the table. Push up to the table, join us. So Jakara's resume, we're putting you on blast, full blast. Your resume is on the screen, or it's coming back. So we're also, I don't know if we can see that, Jalani. I was wondering if you had any tips for her resume as well. I'm not sure if we can really see that. But Jakara, tell us your, what major are you? What's your major? Make her mic, sing test.
Jakara.
I'm a marketing major.
Jakara, take this mic. I'm gonna sit in the audience and interview you.
All right, I love that. He's serious.
So, we'll take, Jalani, you can just take it from here.
Okay. This is for NBC. This will be a mock NBC interview for their rotational program. All right, Jakara. What year are you at Howard?
I'm a senior.
Senior? Majored in marketing? Any minor?
No, I did not.
No? What electives have you been taking?
What?
What electives have you been taking?
Electives, as far as right now, I'm taking Black politics.
Okay.
Just getting a base in where I'm from and bettering myself as far as a business world.
Okay. Apart from that, over the past few years, what have you been studying outside of your marketing classes?
Outside of my marketing classes, I think everyone can say that you want to start learning more about yourself. So taking Photoshop, things that would enhance me further along. So Photoshop skills, design skills, as far as cultivating who I am as a person. So of course going to church, knowing my limits, knowing my skill set, what I can bring to other people, what other people can help me in. So I guess as far as outside of marketing, just making sure I have those relationships with people, knowing who I am so I can better tell somebody else who I am.
That's awesome. I see here that you're the recipient of the Howard Legacy Scholarship.
Yes, that's correct.
It's full ride?
It is tuition and fees.
All right, so you handled your business in high school.
Yes, I like to believe so.
All right. And what's the Community Development Corporation Scholarship?
At my old church in Gallatin, Tennessee, there was a scholarship set aside for someone in the ministry who showed, I guess, promise. That's what the description was. And I was able to receive that scholarship, and it helped me along with housing and books and everything.
Okay,
for my freshman year.
Where's Gallatin?
Gallatin is about 30 minutes outside of Nashville, Tennessee.
Okay. And your church only gave one of those scholarships?
Yes.
How big is your church?
I do not know the exact numbers of the congregation, but I do know we just expanded and bought another building. So it is.
So it's a big one.
It's one of the fairly larger.
Like a super church.
I wouldn't put us on super church yet.
Like a baby super church.
Yeah, let's say a mini super church.
A mini super, okay.
A toddler super church.
Okay. Have you interned every summer since you've been an undergrad?
Yes.
Walk me through freshman year to now, the different summer experiences you've gone through.
Okay, so before coming into Howard, I was a marketing intern with the Sunday School Publishing Board in Nashville, Tennessee, and that's where my mom actually worked, and that's how I got started doing internships, which led me to do that my freshman year summer. And mainly it's just because that I wanted to see my major in real life and what they do. So I was able to do that in the Sunday School Publishing Board. But as far as when I started moving into it, knowing I wanted to do sports, that really picked up my junior year, actually. My junior year, spring semesters, when I had an internship with Jam Sports Productions. Okay. And we did events around Super Bowl. So the celebrity basketball game and the talent show. And that's when I first got into the real nitty-gritty, I guess, of sports and entertainment, event production and everything like that. And then after doing that, it was actually a competition between a bunch of interns. And as you went along with the task throughout the internship, you got cut if you did not do a task correctly or wasn't up to par as somebody else who had done something.
Oh, how many interns was it?
It was about 10.
And they were cutting interns periodically, like a reality show?
Yes. It was.
That's crazy.
It was called the Producer's Cut, so it was a very rigorous.
And when did you get cut?
I did not get cut. I actually won the competition and became the associate producer of the Gridiron Celebrity Hits.
She got the job. I want to give her the job, man. I want to give her the job.
So, given your background in sports, why are you interested in working in entertainment?
In sports,
traditional entertainment.
Traditional entertainment,
as far as sports and events.
I believe that it's a stable industry for business, in this realm of business, because I believe that anyone can say that I'm a fan of sports or I'm a fan of entertainment or I have that favorite team where I want to work or I know that favorite channel that I want to be on, but for me, it's more so business, the business aspect of everything. The revenue that you can bring, the brand loyalty of sports, the brand loyalty that somebody has to an actress or an actor or an athlete that will help me market what they are better. So I guess that's why I want to be in sports.
Okay. My final question is, what do you do on the weekends? How do you spend your free time when you're not studying?
I have not had free time since I believe May. I have had internships, and I'm still currently in an internship working with the Wizards and Mystics. So usually on a given weekend, I am actually working, doing promotions around DC. Like last weekend, the 4-day weekend, I completely worked the entire time. So
24 hours a day?
Not 24 hours a day, but usually my friends know after a certain time, I am just completely drained from everything else. So I usually go home. And you're shaking your head like I'm not telling the truth, but
I believe it. I believe it. All right, it was a pleasure meeting you.
So, Chani, what were your thoughts about Jakara? Like, what overall? Well, let me just, did she get the job? If this was a job interview, did she get the job?
Jakara got the job. Jakara got the job. And even if she didn't get the job, I'm not going to say Jakara didn't get the job. But Jakara got the job. I mean, I was asking questions that, like, your resume is your resume, so I can see your experience. A lot of times in entertainment, interviewers ask themselves, is this a person who I would want to work with, sit in an office with, and brainstorm, and go grab lunch with? Like we've all said, this is an industry that's based on relationships and nepotism. So it's all about how people like spending time with you. So knowing what you do in your free time is important. It's not the same as interviewing for Procter & Gamble or something, or engineering. Like, open up, show some personality, be loose, because it matters. That's actually more important than any, like, clearly, you're qualified. I just want to get a feel for what your energy's like, what your personality's like, and whether or not if we're in the office late on a Wednesday, it's like 4 or 5 of us, you'll kick back and be productive and hang out with us.
Can I add something else?
Yes, you can. Yes.
This is good. Your resume is obviously thorough. What I was saying earlier, when I started out in the mailroom, and I had a Howard degree, and I think to a certain degree, people think you're going to come out of Howard and get this amazing job, or you're just going to be balling out of control because you went to Howard. In entertainment, it's not going to happen. But what you should do and what you should look for is an entry level for you to come in somewhere, not only to learn, but to grow. Charles King, who went to Howard, is one of the biggest agents in the business. He represents Tyler Perry, he represents Eddie Murphy, he represents a lot of big talent, and he's a partner at William Morris. He started out in the mailroom, just like everybody else. But what got him in that mailroom was his degree from Howard. And so I always tell my friends and people that, our peers here, use your degree to get a job in some area that you have interest. Because even though you want to be an actress right away, you can still get a job on a show as an assistant, watching the actresses. You want to be a writer, you can still be a writer's assistant. You want to be an agent or a talent manager, get a job in the mailroom. You have to move out to Los Angeles with your resume, still be creative. There's all creative people up here. But utilize the opportunity and the degree that you're getting from Howard to get in somewhere and grow from there. Because I would not have been able to sell my first script at 20th Century Fox or my second or third or whatever if I wasn't in that mailroom and learned what a script looked like. And that all started with graduating, using my degree, and going to look for not the bomb job, the job that's going to get me in the door.
And everybody here, this is super important. If you don't remember anything that I say, everybody please hear this. 2 things you will stick and stay. Always be on time and have a positive attitude. And on time for us, I'm talking to my people, right? You're supposed to be at work at 9. Be disciplined about being at work at 8:45. And the great thing about the entertainment industry is you don't have to be the most qualified person. They just want to know that you're dependable and you have a positive attitude.
The first time I met Sheldon, he was 15 minutes early, and I liked it. I liked it.
And can I also interject? There are also things, actors that you can do, not necessarily being an assistant. You can be a stand-in for the actor. You're also, you're learning the terminology with the cameras, with this, with that. And with your degree, you can teach. It was my saving grace. I was able to teach everything that I knew. I started teaching acting and dance while I was at Howard. I participated in Howard's children's theater program here, which helped build my resume so that I could go out and get those jobs and create those relationships. So you have that one thing that nobody has. You're going to be an expert in your field. So use that. Get that money and then let that take you to the next level.
And also, my last thing, if you're going to be in this business, know it. Read the trades. Nowadays, you don't have to subscribe. You can read Deadline.com, you can read Hollywood Reporter, you can read Variety.com. You can find out who's buying what projects, who's casting for what. Fox might buy a script that Universal wouldn't buy. Know the business. What's the actor's paper, the Backstage?
Backstage.
Read Backstage. Go to Backstage.com.
And if you're in LA, go to Samuel French Bookstore. They don't have one out here. And Ms. Vera, what's the one that used to be in Adams Morgan that was here?
There's one called Backstage, and it's Northeast 12th Street, and they're very responsive.
They have everything. Go and be a sponge.
So I just want to say,
a large African-American play collection.
Awesome.
Backstage Northeast.
I'm glad we're on the acting topic. Thank you so much, Jakara. Everybody give Jakara a round. And not only, we love to see that you Bisons are so prepared. I think that makes everybody, alumni as well as others, just feel very confident. So not only do you have to be prepared behind the camera, you have to be prepared in front of the camera. So now we're going to do a mock audition. And Professor Vera Katz, who is emerita, she worked at how long were you a professor, Vera Katz? I was
32 years.
32 years. And I don't think that, oftentimes we see, you see Wendy, and you see, Miss Allen, Debbie Allen, and Phyllis Rashad, and you see Andy Anderson, and you see Taraji P. Henson. But Professor Katz taught all of them. So she stands, I just think she's just a wealth of jewels. So we're just so honored to have you. She's also working on her book, which we're so excited about. We know that it's going to be a bestseller because she has so many gems. She's a wealth of knowledge. So if you're an acting major, if you went to Howard University and you don't know who Vera Katz is, I moved to LA. I would go to auditions. Her name on my resume means something. They would say, you're Vera Katz. Oh, you studied with Vera Katz. So realize who is amongst you. Yes, you may see people on TV, but realize who is behind them. So at this time, Professor Katz, we are going to bring up Yasmin Thomas. Where are you, lovely? Come on. You want to
like to say Yasmin Thomas is a sophomore and in the Department of Theater Arts. And so this is a big moment for her. Wendy and I discovered her in a boot camp that we were just doing over in the Theater Arts Department. So we would like to give her your support. She did not expect to do this today. So this is a whole new event, and I know you're going to give her your support. And then I will just say a few comments to her about, praise her first, and then some suggestions as to how she could improve her audition. Thank you.
Give a round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. As she said, my name is Yasmin Thomas, and I will be performing an adapted monologue from the play for colored boys who are considered hostile in the streets, adapted by and I'm playing the role of Tamara. You must be mistaken for some monster. I can tell by the way that they look at you. They tighten up and never smile as if oppression can only be symbolized by you. As if the male gender or colored black means death barrier, potent, poison, lethal. As if the only mind that you have is the one between your legs. And all it does is piss the sewage out of the raw, unadulterated meanness. I know you want to live a long time. But you are going to die. Some obscene joke because they clutch themselves away from you. They hold back all of the good things, even precious smiles from you, and that is what you don't understand. Thank you.
Very nice, very nice. Very nice. You gotta put it up to your mouth. And you were relaxed, and that was very nice. This is a piece she chose. This is her choice. Okay, so certainly she's connected to who she's talking to, and certainly she believes what she's saying. What Wendy Robinson and I suggested to you is that at some point you love this man some more. It's very important you put love into every piece of work that you're doing. Meaning, even if it's a monologue where you're angry, you find a way to reach your man, a different tact, a different approach. So, you know, most of us don't like to have someone yelling at us for a full 3 minutes. We would walk away, right? So what we want to do is find some love. I'm suggesting to you that you take your last 3 lines, whatever they are. Can you remember them right now? Find them. And you think of this man that you love, right? And you try real hard to help him to change. Okay? Give that a try. Just for a minute. Look at him. Look at him. And him.
I know you want to live a long time.
Keep loving him. You want him to live
But
long.
you're going to.
No. Slow. Still love.
But you're going to die. Some obscene joke because they clutch themselves away from you.
Tell me slowly.
They hold back all of the good things, even precious smiles from you. And that is what you don't understand.
Okay, good. Just stop. Right? So, in order to act, you have to stimulate yourself. You have to find some connection to the piece, and you have to use that wonderful memory that's in the history of who you are, and you have to bring it forth in this piece. Slow is better, because slow allows you to experience. Is that not true? I just want to add one thing, thank you, to this brilliant panel. I was here in 1972 when Pearl Bailey came to visit the Theater Arts Department. And she came up on stage, she was a guest, and everybody was very excited. And she said, I'm opening the door for you all, but you have to have something to bring through that door. And that's what you all were talking about. Bringing something, your knowledge, your technique, your where you've been, your intelligence, etc. And so it's still the same story. Still the same story. You have to have something to bring through the door. So, thank you.
Come back up here, baby. I want to first of all acknowledge something that she did. Honey, the sound was doing all kind of things and you did not let that throw you. So I want to say yes to that. You know what I mean? One of the hardest things is staying in the moment when the moment is a little flippant, and you handle that wonderfully. I would love to see you find a way to make it even more conversational, where you don't have to push every moment, because there are going to be moments that you really want to have an impact, but guess what? Because we push through, it all becomes that same ride all the way through, and then we lose that power when we really want it. You know what I mean? But it was wonderful. But I really want you to work on that vocal variety and play with the tempo rhythms of it, you know? But this is a much bigger room, and I love that you didn't overcompensate for that. So it's great to just play it real, and just the more intimate you are with that piece, will definitely be drawn in with you. So thank you so much.
It's important for, this isn't for you, you're awesome. It's important for everybody on both sides of the artistic fence to experience what the other artist goes through. And just to speak how awesome Vera Katz is, I don't know if she remembers this, but I took a couple classes with her. And we had a scene with me and a young lady named Tawan Mercer, and we were supposed to be arguing. And Vera just kept stopping me. I don't believe this argument. I think it was a monologue from a play you chose from. I don't believe it, so we got angrier. And she said, said, I still don't believe it. And we started yelling louder at each other. She said, I don't believe this. And I slapped the fire out of Tawan.
Oh my God.
And she said, I believe it now.
What did Tawan do?
I think she was in shock. And she actually is an editor in Los Angeles now, and she did a piece with me. We're still friends to this day, thank God. But I say all that to say that Vera will bring something out of you, and if you have not experienced or taken a class with her, you are missing out, and you should.
And please get the book as it comes out.
Yes, we will all be getting that book, and thank you so much, Professor Katz. And I just want to say, Yasmin Thomas, we will see her name. Remember her name now. If you're a director or writer, I will get to know her, because you need talented actors, and you need to know them now. So we can't wait to see you on screen. And we can't wait to see Wendy directing you and
play right now.
So thank you so much. Let's give her a
real quick. So I just want to say, as a director, I really appreciate you being so prepared. And that goes leaps and bounds. I'm talking to you, but I'm speaking to everyone. Being prepared is huge. You know, and then the one thing I will pass on to your life as you pursue yourself as an actress is this is a marathon and it isn't a sprint. So the minute that you go in and audition for things, the minute you leave that room, it's over. Leave it, because you have such a long journey to go as an actress, and you don't want this to take away from your life, okay? And at the end of the day, in terms of performance, one thing I'll pass on to you, if you can, because we're all dealing with the human condition, right? You know, why we love things, how we're let down, how we fail, how we succeed. If there's a way that you can truly connect to and think about someone that you love, that will really help you. And it'll bring you to a place where it's very real. And we have a real emotional connection to your performance.
Okay? Thank you so much. So now we're going to have question and answers. We're going to take as many as we can. So there's a mic here. If anyone has a question for any of the panelists, please. We're going to take, I'm not sure how many we're going to take, so I'm going to try to get to most or all, but we are under a time limit. So if you state your name and say your major and your year, and then say your question.
Okay, hello, how's everyone doing?
Good, good.
My name is Thomas Burrell. I'm a senior sports management major. My question goes to Sheldon. Can you talk about like your first projects and what went into making them? Like, I know you probably didn't have like such a big budget that you have now, but for smaller budget films, what actually went into making them?
I mean, well, the very first things was like community and church theater when I was a little kid, you know, and then, you know, the minute that my parents got a big, huge videotape recorder and just like making movies, they were terrible, you know, and then once I got to LA, and I'll say this, you know, we all, especially in this day and age, because we're all connected to instant gratification and things on reality TV and things on YouTube, you know, it took me a better part of a decade, 10 years, to find my voice as a filmmaker. You know, to find yourself and know what it is you want to say. You know, for some people it comes earlier. I feel like Spike Lee knew what his voice was very quickly. You know, he's a very gifted individual. But know exactly what it is you want to say and put out there into the world and the stories that you want to tell. In terms of speaking directly to your question, it once again comes back to your peers and everybody that you're with. And nowadays, you guys have it so much, it's more accessible for you. When I went to film school, you still had to shoot on film. It cost a lot of money. Now, everything's accessible to you. You can shoot on digital cameras. You can edit things. But being short, at the end of this, it's working together so you all can succeed to make something.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Hello, my name is Corbin Butler, senior marketing major from Chino Hills, California. I'd like to begin by saying all this information you guys are sharing has been amazing, and I'm a musician, but I can use all this and apply it to what I do at the same time. Now, I would like to say that one of my lifelong dreams is becoming a scorer, and scoring film, shows, and pretty much anything. I was wondering if you guys had any advice on what would be the best foot forward in terms of doing something like that.
I think that there are a bevy of African American scores, and it's really about 3 or 4 that everyone uses. My advice, I'm sure everybody has something to say, as we were saying before, study them. Study, go to IMDb.com, get an IMDb Pro account, look for them. I can't recall who I'm thinking of now.
What are you talking about? Well, they also have, they have agents that represent film composers. I can't think of the name of the specific agencies right now, but like Asha said, you can Google or go on IMDb Pro. And that definitely is for everybody paying for that because it's a service, it's about the business. And also, go to student films that need music and ask them if you can score. Score something for somebody here. Go up to Georgetown, put up a couple flyers, say I'm willing to score your film, and jump into it. The first film that RZA scored, and I know RZA well, we're working together, was, I believe, Ghost Dog. And that was his first time scoring a movie, and he was nervous and scared about it, but he took that leap of reaching out and saying, I'd like to score your movie. So I think you start on a smaller level and do the same thing.
Yeah, but another thing you can do is you can actually take movies that you love and you could literally do your own versions of the score. And so basically what I'm saying to you is, and then when you found yourself to New York or LA, you actually told someone that you're a composer, or they were like, well, have you scored anything? Even if you made your own scores to existing movies, that can be very impressive to somebody. You'd be like, oh my gosh, this guy just took There Will Be Blood and gave it a totally different feel, you know?
And don't be afraid of television as well. I know on the game they use so many new artists and the music, and they're so into, discovering how to, tell the story of the music and study musicals. There's nothing wrong with the theater, and musicals tell the story through music as well. So seeing it, living it, and being a part of that will also help, ignite something that's right there inside of you.
Are you familiar with Terrence Blanchard?
Oh, he did Streetcar Named Desire on Broadway, and he scored it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I never picked up.
Did you ever see the movie 25th Hour?
Oh yeah.
Do you own the score? Yeah.
And if I can segue, he scored Streetcar Named Desire on Broadway, and it was magnificent. He took that play to a whole nother level just by adding a musical element to the transitions and things like that.
So we're not long-winded, but really quickly, once again, about studying the greats, Thomas Newton Howard, Howard Shore, all these people you should know, because they're like the best in Hollywood scoring films.
We can thank you so much. I'm trying to take as many questions as possible, so, yes.
My name is Wendy Raquel. I'm a sophomore, political science major, television production minor. I am an amateur comedian. I'm just trying to come up as a stand-up comic. And I know there's no one about comedy up there, but I know you guys work with comics, so I'm trying to figure out what really would stand out uniquely in that type of field, or what I need to work on to really get my niche in that field.
I started out doing stand-up when I was 13. And I thought I was going to move to Los Angeles and do stand-up when I got out of high school. The best thing I did was come to Howard. What you should do, though, continue to do stand-up if that's your passion, but also parlay that into writing. The most successful comedians write. Eddie Murphy wrote his own stuff, wrote his own movies. One of my good friends, Marlon Wayans, who I met at Drew, he lived down 4 doors down from me, Drew Hall. He's been successful at writing his own stuff. And now he's doing stand-up as well. I mean, he kind of did reverse engineering, but there's a voice inside of you, obviously. You come up with the material, write it down, and expand it into stories. Because you have a talent that you can use for both now. You can do stand-up, but you're obviously also the best stand-ups or storytellers. Utilize that.
And there's quite a few programs, you don't have to wait. I know UCLA Extension, you don't have to have any degree to go to a UCLA Extension class. I mean, you can go for comedy, writing. I would start looking at these programs, all across, I wouldn't live in, all internationally. So you hone that skill now, because writing is what's going to really feed you. You can write for award shows, and you can write for variety shows, and you can do stand-up.
As far as stand-up is concerned, to Sheldon's point earlier about taking some time to find your voice, it takes a while for some stand-ups to find their voice. And stand-up is, the company I work for, we represent a lot of stand-up comedians. And it's one of the toughest aspects of this industry, because you'll get jeered. You have to just not care, just have thick skin.
They're trying to say to talk to Jelani after this.
Yeah, and I'll talk to you as long as you want afterwards. But you can, I'm not from DC, but in any major US city, there's open mics, and you can go get 5 minutes, go get 3 minutes, go get 2.5 minutes around the city. Just keep doing it. You keep writing, and use Twitter. A lot of the most popular people on Twitter are stand-up comedians and comedy voices. Because if you think about it, as a medium, Twitter lends itself perfectly to quick comedy, punchlines. So use Twitter, promote yourself through that medium. Just go dive into it.
And really quickly, like exercising your muscle, you know, create a comedy troupe and be doing things. And nowadays you can create these little short things, you can put them up. I mean, look, Donald Glover was found because he had a comedy troupe and they filmed themselves. That's how he has a career. There's a new brother that Chris Rock just producing his pilot, the Cumberville, or
yeah, exactly.
You know, and he was basically because he had a comedy troupe and they put themselves up. So always be creative.
I hate to cut everybody off.
Oh, because I was gonna say something because I know some kings of comedy. No, but real talk. Improv, sketch comedy, all of that stuff. Get into like Second City, Groundling,
community.
Play. Give yourself permission, because the more material you have to pull from, the longer the sustainability. So don't be afraid to step outside of that box and get into some classes.
Yeah, and stand-up this is really a community. So when you go to the clubs and you're doing sets and you're hanging out, stand-ups critique each other, and they give advice and pointers and tips, and they strengthen each other. It's one of the most insulated communities in Hollywood. They all know each other, and it's tough to break in. So you just have to go in.
I heard a dope idea up here, starting a Howard comedy troupe. That would be dope. You should start that, brother, because I mean, you've got all the resources here. I'm sure you can find a couple other funny people to shoot some stuff and upload it. I mean, Harvard does it. I don't see why we can't.
Wow. Yeah, we had one at SC. They performed every Friday called Comedians Interrupt Us. They just basically performed in the union.
Yeah,
you know.
The improv group. I went to Columbia. The improv group in my school was basically a Saturday Night Live feeder. Wow. 7, 8, 9, 10 cast, former, current cast members have come out of that stand-up, that improv group.
That's awesome. You got some good stuff. So thank you so much.
I want to thank you.
I want to take a Twitter question now. We're trying to do our. You segued us, Jelani, perfectly. You start talking about Twitter. So we've got some people tweeting now, and I can't see.
Good afternoon, everyone. Joseph Reeves, Junior Political Science major, originally from South Jamaica, New York. I have recently made the decision that I want to switch gears and go into a career in radio, particularly as an on-air personality. And I know that you all talk about trade magazines for like actors or producers, and I was wondering if any of you would know like what are the trade magazines for those that are interested in going into the radio industry.
Well, first of all, let me ask you this, because I'm starting to like sound like I did everything, but I had a radio show here at Howard. Have you looked into HUR?
Yes, I did do a season with WHBC. I wasn't able to get on for this semester, but I'm looking to go back next semester.
Because what you can do there is create a reel. Again, all your resources are here, and I would look at the local markets and use your reel to try to get an on-air job. But yeah, they do on-air. They do hire on-air people in Los Angeles, but LA is so big, they pull them from other markets. So you need to find a market that isn't so in demand where someone's gonna let you get 10 or 15 minutes. I mean, and it starts right here. You know, you got HBC, and if you can get some time at HUR or internship and work your way in there, you should really try to find a way to get your voice on here or Maryland or Virginia and build. You have to build a reel. It's just like being an actress. You gotta, before you can swim, you gotta walk. And that includes building a small body of work that you can show to people.
I have to cut us off. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry. I have to cut. We're running a little over. We're going to take this one Twitter question, and the Twitter question is from Ashley Lauren at Adorable Ashley. She says, HU Howardwood, how do you know if an agent is legit or just trying to trick you out of your money?
Well, that's real easy. Number one, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. You don't pay anybody. You don't pay them. They work for you at the end of the day. They work for who? You. So you get your check and then you pay them. There's so many scams in Los Angeles, and you know, I work with young people. I have a performing arts school, and I've seen so many people, hey, shout out to my students. But there's so many wolves in sheep's clothing that will say, you know, I can do this, that, and the other, you know, just give me $500 and X, Y, and Z. And the game is so smooth and so slick that you'll get caught up and you'll end up paying, but you do not pay any agent or any manager until you get paid, and then they get 10% of your, whatever the gross is that they negotiated for you. Does that make sense? And it's just that simple. Okay.
And agents are legally capped at 10%. They can't commission you for more than 10%. There are some shiesty managers out there who try to commission 20% of your earnings or 25%, even 15%. If it's over 10, that should be a raised eyebrow. Like Dallas said, get an IMDb Pro account and research the company. A lot of entertainment companies, agencies, management companies, they don't have websites necessarily because there's a little bit of mystique in being anonymous, but you can find out whether a company's legit or not. And look at the track record of the person who's reaching out to you. There's a lot of people walking around LA saying they're managers or agents. They're not doing anything. Or producers. And all they're doing is reaching their hands in other people's pockets and not being assets at all.
And look at their client list as well. Don't be afraid to see, oh, okay, they got such and such. Exactly. If they have too many clients that are like you, then maybe, okay, I need somebody else where I can be special and stand out. But please do not.
I think that was a great question. That is our questions. That is our questions. We are now going to, she doesn't know this, but Professor Katz, we just wanted to give you a little something because Professor Vera Katz has supported this event for 3 years. We call, she says what time, and she says where. Normally for these events, you have to sometimes chase people down. And all of the people on this table, everyone, last one said what time and where. And we don't take that for granted. So Professor Katz, we have something for you. Where is it? Oh, okay. So we have something for you. Is that your mic? Thank you, Sharon. There you go. All right. So, Professor Katz, what we're doing with this, we are your fabulous, fantastic student, Wendy Raquel Robinson. She's the first one to sign.
I'm the first one.
We are going to take this around to all of your students. I'm going to do it myself. Wendy's going to help me. No, I'm going to do it myself. We're going to go to Los Angeles. We're going to get, matter of fact, we can go get Miss Allen, but we're going to get Debbie Allen. We're going to get Phyllis Rashad, Taraji P. Henson, all your superstars, and Anthony Anderson, Isaiah Washington, Tracy Toms, and it's just the list goes on. And we're going to get them to sign this, and we're going to send it back to you. Because we want you to know that you are very important to Howard University, and if no one has told you, and I know many have, because I know you're in touch with all your students, and just so you know, I call all of your students, and the reason why they come, I say, well, you know, Professor Katz is going to be here. And they say, okay, I'm in. Wendy says, Professor Katz is there, I'm in, ASHA. So we say thank you We say thank you on behalf of Adia and I, Bay Sister Entertainment, NBC Universal. We hope we have many more years with you, and we just love you, and we say thank you.
I want to thank them. That's a total surprise to me. I'm very moved. I'm having an emotional recall, which you mentioned the young lady should have, and you were so right. I came here in 1969. It was not a good year to come here for me. Dr. King had just been unfairly assassinated, and it was not easy. The first 5-10 years, I learned what it was like to be different. And that's important. It's an important lesson for all of us to learn, that sometimes we have to go through the fire to get the wonderful, wonderful rewards. Life is a journey, and I have something on my refrigerator from Booker T. Washington that says, it's not about you making it, it's the journey while you're trying to make it. I'm paraphrasing Mr. Washington. And so it was a journey, and it's been a lot of work. And just to know that I've been remembered and praised is just such a wonderful, wonderful feeling. So thank you so very much.
We love you. Love you, thank you so much. At this time, Adia May is going to give us our...
First, I just want to say, let's give a hand for all of our parents. Thank you for coming and sharing gems with our students. And I want to say, you know, this takes a whole lot of people, and I could not. It's impossible to do it without a team. And all the support that we have from Howard University, the administration, faculty, our student volunteers, our sponsor, NBC Universal, thank you so much for being the support that you did since 2010. And we are so fortunate to have you so that we can make this happen. I really am thinking about all the information that's been shared, and I thought about when I was in your shoes and when I sat in these seats and when I walked the yard. And you, please know that all of this is for you. You all are the future. You have next. And we are counting on each one of you to elevate us and to make us better. Ossie Davis, our alum, said, any form of art is a form of power. It has impact, it can affect change, and it can not only move us, it makes us move. So when you embark on your path, remember, you have the power to shift perspectives and to impact people to affect change in this world. Don't forget it, don't give up, and we thank you again.
So this concludes our program. I will tell you this, I know you're going to want to talk to the panelists. They are leaving they're leaving in 10 minutes. So I'm not trying to cut anybody off. Most students have my email address. I'm very accessible. All the interns have all a DNR contact. We can link you with any of these people. However, you have 10 minutes. Okay. So thank you so much, and we hope next year, promise me you're going to bring 10 people. Okay? You have to.
Where's everybody at? Oh, so is that what it is? So it's the scheduling.
We have to get the scheduling right. But it's homecoming, and it's just so many events and so many midterms. So we're going to do our part. But still, there's midterms, but we're in touch with a lot of professors. You tell them you're going to Howardwood, they will make your schedule some of these things. Okay, this is very important. So talk to your professors. Be here next year. We thank you so much. Thank you, thank you.
And we're walking, and we're walking, and we're walking.
Where's my phone? Okay, you gotta take this picture. I got it. This is crazy. Well, we gotta get it in front of Howard, since it says Howard.
Welcome back, welcome back. You don't have to put you on blast. Howard alum.
That's right.
Howard alum.
Someone who loves you.
Three, two, one. I'm sorry, I'm not an iPhone user.
Here you go. How it starts.
It's a big deal.
My name is Tevin Scott. I'm a Wendy. Everyone knows me. I don't know if y'all finished. I don't know if y'all like. No, we started.
You know why? They got so many shows going on over there. You hear us.
I mean, I can be.